A massive leak of voter targeting data from Donald Trump's 2016 campaign has shown active measures taken to try to not sway Black Americans over to vote for Donald Trump, but to target them with ads designed to get them to check out of politics entirely. So this is coming from Britain's Channel 4 News, shows that 4 years ago, Trump's digital campaign team compiled files on 198 million American voters. Which I got news for you. If you want to know the extent to which they can do this, that's basically everyone. Which included information about their domestic and economic status obtained from market research companies. An algorithm then divided the voters into 8 categories called audiences so that they could be targeted with tailored ads on Facebook and other social media platforms. So to give you an idea of how big this data leak was, contains details on, again, almost 200 million Americans among more than 5,000 files, together amassing 5 terabytes of data, which is a gigantic leak. And so 3.5 million Black voters were characterized by the Trump team under the category of deterrence, meaning the campaign wouldn't try to win their vote, but would rather discourage them from voting entirely. And so that's not the entire deterrent group, but the group is definitely biased towards non-white voters. So for instance, in Georgia, Black people account for about 31% of the state's population, but 61% in the deterrence category. Other states' data showed a similar pattern, and overall, people of color made up more than half of all of the voters in the deterrence category. And so what happened was then that information was used to selectively purchase ads that would target those voters to try to get them to not vote at all, to just stay home or whatever. And we know a little bit about some of the ads, but a lot of them are what were termed dark ads, in that they don't reside on Facebook servers. They were sent to these people and then they expired. So we don't even know the intent of all of what was done, but it was an absolutely massive campaign spending a huge quantity of money to try to get these people to just check out of the election altogether.
And it worked.
Maybe, yeah, I mean, we can't say for sure.
A lot of people didn't vote, man. I mean, they didn't, and yeah. It's because, I mean, first of all, you can't get me to not vote. That's number one. But was I happily voting for Clinton? Not at all. I did it. I would do it again if you twisted my arm. But when you have people who do feel passionate, because these were not apathetic people that they targeted. They're people who do have beliefs and opinions and are very strong in their convictions. But there is a lot of doubt in our government, in our politics and who it serves. And so they preyed on that, I think it's wrong. It seems highly unethical, but not illegal. Mm-hmm. So they did what they could do. My question is, well, there's 2 things. One, I want to ask you, do you think that the Clinton campaign didn't do something similar? I think they did. Do you, who's behind this? Like who, because Trump is a moron. So who was the machine behind him that was like, this is what we're going to do? Was it influence from other countries saying, hey, this is how you can start to, dissolve the faith in American democracy? I was hired, I hope I don't get killed from this. I was hired by RT America years ago, partially funded by the Kremlin. And I liked their politics a lot because they would cover stories that I know are to be true and accurate. But they were selecting stories that will continue to kind of unravel the strength of Americans and our patriotism and our faith in our own country. And this is just another way to do that. And we're using social media to do it. It's really scary. And we already know that that we carry our chip around with us. We don't need to worry QAnon people that they're going to inject it. Here it is. You carry it around lovingly. They know everything about us. You know what I mean? And we have to get in front of that. It's the same thing with this QAnon phenomenon. We can't just fight it with facts. It's not working. You got to fight fire with fire. And the same thing for this social media, analytics that they're using to target voters and to create disenfranchisement. We have to really get in front of it with laws to say, okay, you cannot use it that way. You have to be more ethical in the ads that you're putting out. And, so in the last, 40 years, technology has advanced so much. To get in front of it has been very difficult. Even as simple as like getting a restraining order for somebody who was cyber stalking you. Well, you used to have to give them your address. So it's like, they don't know where I'm at, And that's the same thing here. Like they have all of the information on us. They can do whatever they want to us. And so without laws and regulations, then that's going to make us extremely vulnerable. And it has. Yeah. And I do believe it works. I don't believe it's only the Trump campaign that used information like this. But it's really disgusting for a president to decide to not want people to vote. Like you would think you know what, I believe in this country, I want you to vote, but obviously he'll contest if he doesn't win. So he doesn't care what the people think. So it's quite disgusting.
Yeah, and look, obviously this is only one of I don't know how many different things we could cite that are designed to stop people from voting, make it harder for them to vote, throw roadblocks up, make it more expensive, more time, require more time and all that. There's a lot of that. Are other people doing stuff like this? Potentially, we don't know. But beyond just the difference between like Trump and Clinton, first, we don't have evidence that Clinton has, which doesn't mean that it's not available, but we don't have access to it. We also know that Trump has spent more on these sorts of ads back on Facebook than any other campaign. I mean, differentiating him in the primary from other Republicans running for president. Nobody had a thing like this. Now, hypothetically, this sort of thing is not possible anymore. Facebook says at least that sort of racial micro-targeting isn't actually allowed, but that is like Mark Zuckerberg's word that we're relying on there. So God only knows. What I do know is that there is more lying about this because we now know what they did. Back in July 2017, former Trump digital director and campaign manager Brad Parscale, you probably know him from starring in viral videos of him apparently like getting arrested after threatening to murder his wife or something like that. Apparently lied while testifying before the House about whether the campaign targeted specific voters, saying, "I did not target by race specifically in get out the vote and/or persuasion efforts," which is not necessarily technically a lie. Because it wasn't get out the vote, it was stamp down the vote. He was specifically trying to stop them from voting. And we know that Cambridge Analytica, Steve Bannon, those are the sorts of people that had been involved in this sort of thing. Now, Cambridge Analytica supposedly is not what it was. It doesn't have the access to the data that it did. And Steve Bannon supposedly isn't involved in the campaign. So there are things that are different, but I think it's great of Channel 4 News that they got this information and let us know at least about some of what had been happening back in 2016.
Well, whatever our suspicions were, this story really lets us know the nitty gritty dirt, what was really going on. Is Brad the one that's on like a 72-hour, like 5150 hold right now in a mental institution?
I believe guy, so. Right? He apparently threatened himself and had threatened.
Stable guy.
He was
real.
I trust him. Yeah, and look, I don't want anyone to hurt themselves, and I certainly don't want them to, commit acts of domestic violence and things like that, which are alleged at this point. But perhaps we'll find out more in the future. Anyway, I will just say, man, Trump surrounds himself with just the best people, just the best. The
top people, and then he fires them, and then they go into mental institutions.
Yeah, and then they will be referred to as coffee boys from there on out. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.